when PM asked me to lead this effort, I discussed with quite a number of people and I thought quite long and hard about how do we want to do this. And I decided that this should not be done as a policy consultation exercise. The process that I decided upon, and even the name itself, reflects something quite different, and I spoke about it as a Singapore conversation. Now, it is a conversation in that it is not just a conversation between the government and the people, but really it is a conversation among Singaporeans. And it is getting Singaporeans together to create the vision for Singapore. I think we are now at a crossroad in terms of the next phase of our development. Our society is more diverse. The issues that we're going to deal with are more complex. Issues of, for instance, what is the meaning of a HDB flat? What is the purpose of the policy? What are the goals of education and how do we go about achieving this? To what extent education shapes our society or education reflects our societal norms and expectations? Those are very complex issues. Those involve our value system, those involve trade-off. So therefore, I thought it is far more important to have a conversation where we engage Singaporeans in this process and to hear different perspectives. And then we can come together and talk about some of these very critical decisions that we need to make. I was quite concerned about whether we would, by creating a very open-ended process, whether we will end up having discussions go basically all over the place. And then at the end people feel very disgruntled about it. I'm pleasantly surprised that many of the sessions had recurring themes, which then allowed us to distill into the 12 citizens' perspective. The fact that the same issue crop up again and again shows a certain consistency in aspirations. So for phase 2, your question about how are we going to do it, I would say there are a few elements. We will continue with some of the open-ended sessions whereby Singaporeans can come together and talk about the Singapore that we want to see in the year 2030. The second type of sessions that we're going to have will be more specific areas relating to hope, more specific areas relating to hearts, and more specific relating to home. And then there's a third type, which will be much more in-depth discussion on particular areas. And the ones which quite clearly we'll be doing will be housing, healthcare, education and jobs. I'll say these two are related to each other. Building a sense of community. I take the OSC as a long learning journey. It's a learning journey that we have started. My approach is we just have to continue this. We just have to make sure that we are sincere about it. We want to make this an authentic process, and that as a Chinese saying go, right, 路遥知马力. So whether it is all this for real or all this are for show, people can tell after a while. And I'm just happy to just continue with this, with the horse working harder.